Hello and welcome to the news on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Bengaluru civic body BBMP gives citizens 3 days to tear down illegal extensions to their property. This comes just 2 days after the civic body made its demolition map public. Potholes claim another life in Kalyan. Citizens ask how many more lives will be snuffed out before the government wakes up. And in Mumbai civic body, the BMC extends deadline to make Mumbai pothole free. This will be the 8th time BMC has extended its self-set deadline. Straight up, the BBMP civic body of Bengaluru has given Bangaloreans 3 days. Yes, 3 days to find out if their homes are illegal and demolish it themselves. To aid citizens in this, the BBMP had uploaded a map of the demolition on its website on Sunday. Once the 3 days are up, BBMP will start raising homes again. Meanwhile, as ordinary citizens continue to bear the brunt of BBMP's acts, no action has been taken till date against big developers, marquee malls, or even office buildings. Rahul Dayama was on ground earlier today, and he gets us this report from Bengaluru on day 11 of BBMP's demolition drive.
Today is the 11th day of the demolition drive here in Bengaluru. Remember, for 3 days now, since it was a long weekend, and with the Independence Day being yesterday, the BBMP had put demolition work on hold. But today, demolition has started. We are right now near Lal Bagh. That's where over 10 houses have been demolished on this very stretch because they have encroached on Raja Kalways. Also, demolition work has happened in Bomanhalli. While the confusion around which houses will be demolished continue to remain, residents that I spoke to here tell us that while markings were made a few days back, no sort of notice was given to them. A story that we have been at Magic Bricks Now talking and really debating as far as citizens' voices are concerned. Also, while BBMP has put on its website maps describing encroachments, there's a lot of confusion among citizens because it's survey numbers that have been put up. People are not able to find out if their home is on an encroachment and will be demolished next. BBMP meanwhile says the list that they have been put up is not an exhaustive list, so the number of homes to be demolished over the next few days can only go up. So clearly the confusion even on the 11th day remains as to which homes will be bulldozed. Residents here also echoed a similar sentiment. There's still a lot of confusion and we are understanding that demolition work will only gather pace now, and across all zones the demolition work will start. But for citizens, they're really asking a few questions as to why BBMP is not being transparent as far as telling people about it. Why aren't big sharks being targeted right now, and also the clarity that BBMP is lacking in this demolition drive.
Dr. Hussain, thank you for joining us. First, I want to acknowledge the fact that on demands of this channel, the BBMP has in fact made a lot of the information that we had asked for public. Can we expect more information from the BBMP in the days to come?
I would like to congratulate both you and your channel for raising the issues of the common people, because of which, whether it is my government or some other government, will have to get into action to see that the problems of being faced by the common people in day-to-day life are being solved by the government of the day.
If the state government want to demolish illegal buildings, I am going to tell straight away, 50% of the buildings in Bengaluru they have to demolish.
50?
It is the fact. One or the other way, all are deviating the rules, all are encroaching the government lands. There are so many reports, there are so many court directions. If the state government want to implement the High Court judgments and they want to implement the act strictly, they have to demolish 50% of the buildings all over Bangalore.
Isn't it also
why
true?
The state government is doing this without humanity? Why they are demolishing the buildings? So far we have not understand. At least they have to provide alternative. If they want to execute the judgment of the High Court, they must alternative things they have to provide to the residents.
सिद्धेगौडाची can you please let us know as to what was the imminent threat in Dodbom Sandra? There was no flood alert. It is not a low-lying area. How come that was chosen for the demolition? People who have been resident for the last 30-40 years have not seen floods in that area.
We want the waterway. Anyhow, that will you are exercised from the last 6 months to make the Pakka drains. According to that, now you are going to ascertain what are the according to revenue people will remove the encroachment.
You're telling me that I might have my Kata paper, I might have property tax, I might have all of the facilities from the BBMP, but still I cannot trust any of these papers, that none of it means that my property is actually legal. So which means any house in Bangalore right now can be illegal. Any house constructed in the last 100 years can be illegal in Bangalore.
We are not saying we don't want the demolition to happen. We want demolition to happen in an even-handed way for big and small. You are only going after the small constructions. Go after the big developers. Go after the big developers as well.
We are going for everyone.
Right on the big Rajkalaways.
So how did you start? Then you tell me how.
Where is it? Show us with your proof.
Mr. Siddaramaiah, Chief Minister of Karnataka, got allotted a site from the BDA in the tank itself. In a irrigation tank, Mr. Siddaramaiah long back got allotted a site and he sold. Now somebody, innocent people, have built up the house in the Dallas colony. What Mr. Siddaramaiah is going to take the action?
The Bengaluru civic body has demolished over 100 homes without giving citizens any notice, using a questionable 100-year-old village map.
Up-to-date tax we have paid. We have paid to government agency on there.
Magic Bricks now raised the issue and asked the government for answers.
How long does it take to put it up on the website? Why is that map not public?
BBMP and the government bow down and accept citizens' demands.
I would like to congratulate both you and your channel for raising the issues of the common people.
Magic Bricks now, putting citizens first.
Well, remember, Magic Bricks Now had asked BBMP to put up all of the maps, all of the demolition maps on their website, and the BBMP did go ahead and upload it online. However, what we also know is that this is not the final list. Starting Sunday, BBMP has given a 3-day notice to all of the citizens and have asked them to voluntarily remove their encroachments, which means starting the 17th of August, the mass demolition drive, we're told, will continue. And that's something that we'll keep a close watch here on Magic Bricks Now. Moving on, Mumbai civic body BMC has asked for another 7 days to make the city pothole free. This is the 8th time the civic body has extended its own self-set deadline. Now, in fact, the civic body's officials told Magic Bricks Now that about 1,700 potholes have to be repaired in the next 5 days.
1,700, that's the number of potholes that are yet to be repaired in the city of Mumbai. That's what BMC officials tell Magic Bricks Now. In fact, right now also you can see I'm standing here at the CST, which is very close to BMC's office, and you can see the entire stretch of the road is filled with potholes. There are patches of work which is not yet complete by the workers. In fact, officials also tell us that to repair all these 1,700 potholes, they will need a week more. Remember, BMC had taken 7th extension by promising to the citizens of Mumbai that they will repair all the potholes by 21st of August. But clearly, this doesn't seem to be picture going by the looks of it. You can see that the cars are moving. The traffic is very slow here at this particular road. In fact, officials also tell us that workers are working here to ensure that the potholes are filled, and they also thank to the dry spell that the city is facing for the past 3 days. They have managed to repair close to 300 potholes across the city, is what BMC officials told us. And lastly, they also tell us that they are also facing lack of manpower because workers are really not keen to work double shifts as it was directed by the Municipal Commissioner Ajoy Mehta. So clearly this could be BMC's 8th extension to repair the potholes in the city of Mumbai.
Now, while Mumbai's civic body, the BMC, is missing deadline after deadline to fix the city's roads, in nearby Kalyan, yet another life was lost due to potholes. A bank executive lost his balance after he hit a pothole, following which a truck rammed into him, killing him on the spot. An FIR has now been registered in connection to the case. Here's a report.
We are on the arterial road that leads to Kalyan from the Mumbai-Nasik highway, where on August 10th, Vijay Kendre, a 35-year-old resident of Titwala, lost his life while he was riding on his bike along with a friend, Amit Pathak, who was riding pillion. While they were going on this road, they lost their balance because of the 3 potholes that had been there on this road for quite some time. They lost their balance, and unfortunately, Vijay Kendre came under the tire of a truck which was right beside their bike. Right after the accident on the next day, the potholes were taken care of and the road was levelled by the administration, that is by the MSRDC, who has been tasked to manage this road. However, it was too little too late, because by the time the road was taken care of, Vijay Kendre had already lost his life because of the injuries that he suffered on his head. He used to reside in Titwala and is survived by his wife and a son. The question now that the family is asking is that who will take care of the wife and the son when Vijay Kendre was the sole breadwinner of the family. The family has blamed the contractor who was charged to take care of this road and the administration who was supposed to have better roads in Kalyan. And not only in Kalyan, we have seen such incidents happening in Mumbai too. How long until the administration realizes that these deaths are happening, that these injuries are taking place, that these accidents are taking place? That is the same question that Vijay Kendre's friend Amit Pathak has asked to, that because of the administration lackadaisical attitude, he has lost his friend. In fact, he had to see his friend lose his life in front of his eyes. इसमें किसकी जिम्मेदारी है? यहाँ पर जिम्मेदार कौन है?
प्रशासन मैम, यहाँ पे प्रशासन की जिम्मेदारी है, कहाँ के ये रोड बनाने वाले कॉन्ट्रैक्टर की जिम्मेदारी है। इन लोगों का ध्यान न रहने की वजह से किसी के परिवार का कोई कमाने वाला सदस्य चला गया।
सर, हम लोग यहाँ पर आप इतने सालों से रह रहे हैं, साल दर साल हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि पॉटहोल्स ठीक नहीं होते हैं। इलेक्शन हुए थे अभी हाल ही में, महाराष्ट्र में नई गवर्नमेंट आई है, तो ये गवर्नमेंट जो है जिनको आप चुन के लाते हैं, अपने लीडर को चुन के लाते हैं, उनको आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मैम, उनको मैं क्या कहना चाहूँगा, उनको सब कह के थक चुकी है और मैं क्या कहूँगा। अगर मैं अभी कह के भी मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है, क्योंकि क्या अभी मैं उनको कहूँ तो क्या कहूँ, क्योंकि सब कह रहे हैं तो भी कुछ काम नहीं हो रहा है, तो मेरे कहने से कोई मतलब नहीं है। क्योंकि अभी आप देख लीजिए, एक दिन पहले ये रोड अगर बन जाता तो शायद मेरा दोस्त यहाँ पे रहता।
Moving on to a Magic Bricks Now exclusive hope again for the long delayed Dwarka Expressway. Now, Huda will conduct another draw of lots to compensate project affected people. This will be the second draw of lots. Huda has called for this after people who were left out in the last draw had protested. Deepa Rana gets us this exclusive.
The ousties of Dwarka Expressway, who allege that they are not being provided with alternative plots, are going to be provided with alternative plots on August 24 by the Haryana Urban Development Authority. Now, we at Magic Bricks Now also approached Huda, and they told us that the first draw, which was conducted on July 31st, 109 ousties of Tekchand Nagar as well as Khidki Daula and New Palam Vihar were provided with alternative plots, and there were issues like registry issues, due to which there were some other applications which were left out. And after Huda has sought a sort of response from the Attorney General, and Attorney General has given a nod for the other ousties as well, over 300 more ousties are going to be provided with alternative plots on August 24. Now, this Dwarka Expressway, which has been not completed, and the construction of Dwarka Expressway, which has not been completed since 2011, over 6 years of time, the Dwarka Expressway completion is going to start. This seems to be the last hurdle, which is going to be soon completed, and Dwarka Expressway's construction will soon begin. Now, this 18 kilometers of Dwarka Expressway, which lies in the Gurgaon area, 14.33 kilometers of construction has been completed by the Haryana Urban Development Authority, and rest of it will soon be completed, is what we are told by the Haryana Urban Development Authority. Now, once the Dwarka Expressway is completed, over 150 projects which have been launched along the expressway is going to come up, which is also going to release at least 97,000 units in the Gurgaon area.
Moving on to the Swachh Bharat campaign, the government is now moving beyond public service announcements on the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is now working with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences to make this a people's campaign. Listen in to see how the government wants you to participate in making India clean.
It's becoming definitely Jana Andolan. I can't say fully it has become Jana Andolan because India is a huge country with 125 crore population. Different states and then different urban local bodies and then different customs and different traditions at different places. But it's now, there is a change of mindset fast taking place in the country. And different stakeholders, they are also showing interest. After the call of the Honorable Prime Minister to make it a Jana Andolan, it's picking up, it's catching up. And today's workshop, where all important people from different parts of the country, in partnership with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, my ministry is organizing this workshop to find out ways and means to share the experience of the last 2 years of this Swachh Bharat campaign. There are some foreign delegates also from Australia, from Bangladesh and also from UK. And then across the country there are district collectors and other officials also. There are a lot of voluntary organizations that are working in this field. They have all come forward. I'm happy that this will have a meaningful conclusion so that these recommendations can be studied by the government and then conveyed to the people.
Mumbai's Development Authority MHADA's latest proposal, that of combining the redevelopment of a tenanted old building with a slum, has raised a storm. Tenants are accusing the state of diluting consent norms in a bid to get redevelopment projects up and running. Ruchi Deshpande gets us more details.
Maharashtra's Housing Authority body MHADA has passed a proposal last month that outlines certain changes in the redevelopment of firstly the old cess buildings in Mumbai as well as the slum redevelopment in Mumbai. The first major change is that the amount of consent needed by the tenants for the redevelopment of any building or slum has been brought down from 70% to 51%. This also means that say two buildings have been slotted for redevelopment, MHADA just needs a clubbed consent of 51% from both the buildings to go ahead with the redevelopment. This also means that say the larger building has a greater amount of tenants that do not consent to this, they will still have to fall in line with the redevelopment since the requirement for 51% is already there. The second noteworthy thing in this proposal sent by MHADA is the fact that the redevelopment of an old cess building can be clubbed with that of a slum. Again, the rule of 51% consent of both the buildings together applies here, which again means that either of the party loses out is basically the one that does not consent to this but already meets the requirement of 51%, which means that if the larger building has tenants that do not consent to this but they meet that requirement of 51%, they will still have to fall in line and go ahead with the redevelopment. As of now, this is a proposal that has been sent by MHADA to the Mumbai Municipal Corporation requesting them to incorporate these changes in their development plan. The rationale behind this by MHADA is that they want to fast track the redevelopment of nearly 14,000 buildings that are old or cess in the city of Mumbai.
Now, we also caught up with Arvind Sawant MP, Lok Sabha spokesperson Shiv Sena, and Viren Shah, president of the Retail Traders Welfare Association, earlier today. Listen in to what they had to say.
Question of proposal doesn't arise, I feel that should be done by MHADA. Then these questions will not arise at all. Why you need 51%? Because the builders are fighting among themselves. And people create hurdles on these projects itself. There are both the people are responsible. Both the people are responsible. The builder as well as the tenant, both are responsible for this. And therefore, government law and the enactment should be done by the MHADA itself.
See, the issue is right now the MHADA has come out with the proposal in which they have diluted the consent of the tenants, which was earlier 70%. It has come down to 51%. This is the proposal which has they have moved to the BMC. This is an indirect way of making lots of money through the development rights and all that. And this will dehouse most of the Kaf Parade, Kolaba, Walkeshwar, Nepean Road, where the rates are about 1 lakh rupees a square feet odds. So those tenants will have to be suffered, and this will advantage will be go to the builders which are very few builders who are taking advantage via this route. But we are already having a WhatsApp group, more than 100 WhatsApp group is there. We are trying to ask everybody to add their tenants in that group. And eventually we under one platform with protection of tenants' right. Under this platform, we all will come together, all the commercial traders, residents, all the area, more than 30 lakhs tenants are there. And they all will come together, and we will then meet the local MLAs, MPs, the Shiv Sena leader Uddhavji. We all try to meet them, try to explain them this is not going to work. And the election is also down the corner, so nobody wants to take any advantage.
What does the Congress think of this proposal? We caught up with Milind Deora, MP Congress, and asked him if he supported MHADA's proposal. Listen in.
No, I'm completely against it because the scheme of 33(7), which allows for old cessed buildings to be redeveloped, was functioning perfectly well with a 70% clause. The 70% clause was decided many years ago. It has been working extremely well in South Mumbai, other parts of the city. It's being used for other projects as well, for other policies as well, whether it comes to slum rehabilitation, redevelopment of cessed buildings. And all over the country, many state governments have come to Maharashtra and examined this proposal and have used this proposal and imported it to their states. You know, it's firstly this thing of builder versus tenants. As I said, the current scheme was working perfectly well. Buildings were being redeveloped. Wherever there was a case where a building was extremely dilapidated, a developer would come in. Obviously, there was commercial viability. And at a 70% clause, they would get 70% of consent from tenants. And there was no questions, there was no problems at all. It worked harmoniously between tenants, developers. But what I'm really concerned about is because this always has political undertones to it.
Meanwhile, Mumbai's civic body, the BMC, will pay you to reduce, reuse and recycle. A proposal under the civic body's consideration mandates property tax deduction for housing societies that successfully reduces garbage that is generated. The biggest gainers will be those societies that manage zero garbage status. My colleague Disha Shah, who tracks the BMC for us, gets us more details.
Mumbai civic body, the BMC, is all set to encourage housing societies in Mumbai to go green, and in return, what Mumbaikars could get is a rebate and a discount on its property tax. In fact, top senior officials in the BMC tell Magicpix now that there are two factors that the civic body is considering. Number one, any society which can manage to collect and segregate the waste into wet and dry and compost it could get a rebate of 10% on its property tax. And officials also tell us that this 10% could remain standard across all the housing societies which can manage to basically segregate their own waste and compost it. Secondly, what the civic body is also trying to implement here is that any society which can manage zero garbage, and any society which means that any society which can eliminate the entire amount of waste, right from collecting it to transporting it to disposing it off, will get the highest rebate on the offer, which could be 20%. In fact, BMC officials tell us that with this, their aim is to reduce its burden of collecting and disposing it off every day, because they say that the 3 dumping grounds in the city is already full. So they are encouraging the housing societies to manage their own waste. And lastly, civic officials also tell us that this is currently just a proposal, and the solid waste department is currently framing the guidelines with this, and this could be implemented only by next year, which is after the budget, which is in March 2017.
Also, there's some bad news coming in for Mumbaikars who can look to a tough end of August as 2 taxi unions fight it out. While both have a common cause, Ola and Uber, the Mumbai Auto Rickshaw and Taxi Men's Union and the Jai Bhagwan Taxi Union have called for a strike on 2 different days, which means you will have to struggle to get to work on the 29th of August and the 31st of August. Also, both these unions have told us that it will be a peaceful protest. However, no autos or taxis will ply on both these days. We caught up with Shashank Rao, president of Mumbai Auto Rickshaw and Taxi Men's Union. Listen in to what he had to say.
We have three major demands. One is that the government should immediately act and stop all the illegal transport happening in the city. That is happening through illegal buses, illegal private cars and call center cars who take away our business illegally. It is affecting the autos very badly. Secondly, they should rein in all the aggregators. They should get in rules and code of conduct for the aggregators, and till such time that the rules are not framed, they should stop all the aggregators from operating on the roads of Mumbai. And thirdly, they should give badges to all those drivers of auto rickshaws who have a license of 3 years, so that they could earn their daily wages without any harassment from the authorities.
With that, we've completely run out of time here on the news on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.